Welcome to the Heels and Quads Wrestling Podcast.
A fully loaded edition.
God. About one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time. WCW's New Blood Rising.
What day is it again?
Tuesday. Monday. It's Monday. Oh, shit.
When you're down in the dumps and you need something to bring you,
Hey Domino's, if you want to sponsor the show for giving Levi the shits at 2 a.m., you can email us at heelsandquads@gmail.com.
And everybody's just having a good old fucking time here. They're having a great time at Bachelor Beach.
Because it was free.
Yeah.
yeah, now.
The show must go on, but things must go wrong.
I wanted to have a fucking puke bucket next to me and be like, oh my god, he's gonna puke.
There's something wrong with me. I'm gonna go, look, dude, I'm in a big league again.
Look, dude, do you know who I am and do you know how much money I've made doing it?
Wrestling is so fucking stupid, dude. God, I love it.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
I guess you can start this one off,
Okay.
since I feel like you have a stronger, more interesting list.
Okay, so number 10, this is mainly for the entrance and because this was kind of their comeback. SummerSlam 1992 versus Ted DiBiase and IRS. They come out on the motorcycles and Paul Ellering and the little fucking dummy dude, whatever his name was. Everybody hated him, the little puppet dude. Ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah.
He was stupid. But yeah, the entrance was cool. The match was okay. Road Warriors win, get a big pop.
It's the environment.
It's in London. It was.
Yeah.
Remember when we did that and we were like, oh, everybody's like, oh, that's the best SummerSlam ever. That's one of the best events of all time. Like, it was just okay, you know?
Yeah, as far as wrestling goes, it wasn't like the greatest wrestling show ever. It's a one-match show.
Yeah, like Macho and Warrior was okay, and then
Yeah.
This
one was all right.
And then
The
Brett
Road Warrior
and
one was
Bulldog, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the match was but it's mainly for the entrance, and it's a memorable moment for the Road Warriors. So 10 probably wouldn't have made my list if I would have took a month to do this like we usually do for the top 10s, but yeah.
And also the reason why we're doing this obviously is in lieu of the death of Road Warrior Animal. So rest in peace to both of the Road Warriors. Hopefully they are the Legion of Doom or wherever they are in the afterlife. It kind of sucks because, I mean, it does suck. We just talked about him like the week before that happened. Yeah. So really shitty news to get. And he wasn't old. So it's like, it just really sucks. But he's with his brother Hawk now. So
yeah, it was weird because like when it happened, I texted you and I was like, you know, it feels weird, I think, because we actually met him.
The animal story. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have like a story. And then it's like the first wrestler that, you know, I feel like connected to that has passed.
Was he the one I walked up to and I was like, hey man, I just want to, you know, because we were like fed up and I was like, I'm just glad you're just out walking around.
Yeah.
Like
actually
that socializing.
Animal,
yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, thanks. Getting a coffee or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was also a little scared.
We saw Slaughter and Teddy Long in the coffee line
right.
too. Yeah. But
yeah.
Me and Animal will always have Target. You were off walking around and I was on the phone getting pissed off because I couldn't find beer.
Me and Animal will have the coffee line.
Yeah.
Or the food line, whichever one. Probably food.
It was really funny though, because you just walk up to like, hey man, I just wanted to come up and say hello and shake your hand. Like we were so pissed off.
We were so done at that point. Yeah. I was like, thank you for just being Animal, you know?
Yeah.
And he's in gimmick the whole time. Like he was about to hit me with the doomsday device with someone.
Yeah.
I was like,
I would have helped him out. Heidenreich wasn't there, so he needed help.
Oh God. Speaking of, one of those is on my list.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to cancel the show.
So my number 10 is the Road Warriors versus Midnight Express at Starrcade 1986. It was the scaffold match, and it was, I guess, one of the better of those.
Yes.
But just because it's one of those 80s matches that the reason it makes number 10 is because I really didn't have a good number 10 spot. And this is a real, like, you can just throw it on there. And the reason being is because they just kind of did awesome matches through the 80s, you know, and that was their era was 80s and early 90s, and this was just kind of, they were getting to that peak. They were on their way to the peak. So like 86, I think they weren't wearing their gear yet at all. They were just wearing paint.
Yeah, it was like they had like weird like vests with spikes on it. They didn't have the shoulder pads yet. Yeah, that was like 88, 89 when they got those.
Yeah. So anyways, that's my number 10. I don't remember the match a whole lot, but I know that it's them versus Midnight Express. It's two teams of awesome workers, so I threw that on there just for kind of like a hearsay of all the 80s matches they do. So
yeah. My number 9, Legion of Doom versus the Nasty Boys, again SummerSlam, but this is the year before, 91. I mean, it was one of those matches, 4 big human beings in there just beating the shit out of each other. It was no DQ, no count out, all that stuff. So good match, fun memories. 91, you know, little Tommy is as me, not my little Tommy, my son, me.
And not your penis either.
No, that's Stanley.
Oh, Stanley, okay. Stanley Hudson.
But, you know, it's just one of those golden era matches that I remember watching as a kid a lot on my Coliseum video VHS.
All right. Oh, yeah. Man, I wish I could have tried that.
I actually need to email that guy, by the way.
HeelPod 10. All right. My number 9 was your number 10. SummerSlam 92 versus Money Inc. Like you kind of said, it's not the greatest match ever, but it's the environment. And just the fact that they were one of the highlights on the card after we watched it and reviewed it, we were like, this isn't the greatest show ever. But I think I remember this one, us saying, it was all right. You know, it was a early 90s tag match. And Money Inc. was kind of a pretty top tag team at the time. And you got to see the Road Warriors fight them in front of like 80,000 in London. So, same reasons as you, basically. Number 9.
My number 8, the Road Warriors versus the Samoan SWAT team, aka the Head Shrinkers, aka Rikishi and Samu. NWA Clash of the Champions 8. Another one of those, like, I mean, big dudes going at it. Powerful tag match, you know.
All right. My number 8 is Starrcade 89 versus the Steiner Brothers in the tournament matches. It was like a 10-minute match, but I believe it was the tournament matches. Yeah. It was like a 10-minute match, but it was just enough. And it was all business. They wrestled their ass off, and it was two teams of good workers. I mean, the Steiners were a killer tag team.
Yeah.
And then they're in there with Legion of Doom or Road Warriors, and they just worked for 10 minutes. It was just a really good tag team wrestling match. It's really nice to watch that back in the day.
There was like 3 or 4 versus the Steiners that I almost put on my list.
They had a good little feud.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was like a, spread out rivalry, but it was good. They never disappointed. Let's put it that way.
Like the Steiners were better wrestlers, but because like LOD, Road Warriors, whatever you want to call them here, you always heard they worked really stiff.
Yeah.
And it kind of, watching them, it comes across as they're pretty rough in the ring, but it shows their power. So, and I never really knew of anybody ever really getting hurt working with them. So I guess that was okay. Where are we at? 7?
Yeah.
My number 7 was your number 10, I believe. Road Warriors versus Midnight Express. The scaffold match from Starrcade 86. This is one of the first matches I remember watching on the network when it came out. because you always hear Cornette talking about this run and how it was crazy how tag teams were selling out the arenas. It wasn't just Flair anymore. It was,
Yeah.
the tag matches were really selling the towns out, and everybody would come to see them. And man, that shit, those were just cool matches. I mean, I couldn't imagine working that match, a scaffold match. I'd be shitting bricks, dude. There's no
I'm
way
too scared of heights.
No, there's no way my ass would be up there
No.
without a fucking harness. And there's no way they
Yeah.
would do these matches now.
Mm-mm. All right. My number 7 was your number 9 in SummerSlam 91 versus the Nasty Boys. Kind of like you said, just big dudes fucking slugging it out on a big stage. So I want to go back and revisit SummerSlam 91 sometime. But yeah, I always liked their matches. I mean, with any tag teams, but the Nasty Boys is kind of just fits them together because they're just fucking sluggers and heavy hitters and body slams and just early 90s wrestling. Post 80s, early 90s.
One of those matches where I wish I still had all of my Hasbros.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Turn this match on, you get the tag teams out, and man,
Yep.
God,
Do your thing.
I wish I still had all of them. I still have a few. The kids still have a few, but I don't have my whole set. Like, I had all of them at one time. Number 6, right? Yeah. This one was fun. This was the first match I watched when we decided to make this list. Legion of Doom versus Hulk Hogan and Tenryu from WWF/SWS Japan Super Show WrestleFest 91. This was cool because Hogan and Tenryu the night before, I believe, had a singles match, and then they tagged here against the Legion of Doom. And this is a fun one because not only are the Legion of Doom kicking ass, because at one point they gorilla press slam both of them. Animal gorilla press slams Hogan, which is crazy. That would never happen in the US at this time.
No.
Only in Japan. And Hogan actually wrestles. Like, he does an enziguri and he does a drop toe hold into a submission. I was like, holy shit. I sent you the link. I was like, you got to watch this match.
Teddy. That's not Terry.
Ichiban.
That's Teddy. Ichiban.
Yeah, and he comes out and he doesn't do like the normal like this. He just like throws up number ones.
The Ichiban thing. Yeah.
It's wild. I definitely, if you're listening or watching this, go back and find that match.
You should definitely watch. It's kind of like a hidden gem.
I found it on Daily Motion. Just search on Google and you'll find it.
There's some good gems on there.
Google it.
So my number 6 was actually from WrestleFest 91 as well. But it was like a compiled list of, like, it's WrestleFest 91, but it's that, like, the Wrestling Classic or whatever on WWF. But it's
so it's the WWF WrestleFest. Like
WrestleFest 91,
video.
Yeah. With Macho Man hosting it by the pool or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's then Road Warriors versus the Hart Foundation. It's a early Hart Foundation. Well, I mean, not super early because they started in the 80s, but I was trying to look. I looked for a match. I'm sure they have more matches versus Hart Foundation, but I found this one, and it's not like the greatest. It's a good match, especially for the time period. Not like the greatest, 2020 tag team match, but it's just a good one because it's all good workers in the ring together, just rolling with the psychology and telling a story. I watched it last week. I think it had a funky finish. No, it wasn't a funky finish. It was just kind of a quick one. Somebody stole it. Was one of the Road Warriors stole the pin. I think it was Hawk, and they got away with the victory. But it was just a good wrestling match.
I haven't watched that one.
I'm going to say that
since the Coliseum video, since the Coliseum videos hit the network. Like, I went on a fucking bender watching.
Oh yeah,
that shit. That was a good one.
Well, that's a good one.
Where we
at? It was a little
five.
Yeah.
This one's a fun one. I watched this. I want to say like last Sunday. Saturday, the Road Warriors versus Ivan and Nikita Koloff in a Russian chain match. You want to talk about some fucking crazy shit?
Yeah.
You get color. You get color early on. It's not very long. I think it was like 11 minutes, which I guess for 86, because this is July 5th, 86. It was like one of the Great American Bash, but it wasn't the Great American Bash. It was like one of the shows, the touring show kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was a cool match, and having a tag team
I want to watch that
chain match is pretty wild.
Yeah. It sounds like there has to be color in a match like that.
Oh yeah.
My number 5 was Nitro, February 26, 1996 versus Harlem Heat. A lot of these matches I had to look at lists because Road Warriors, when I was a kid, it was like LOD 2000.
Yeah.
It was like late 90s. So a lot of these I had to look at lists and watch them. So mine is definitely kind of a best of, like, compilation, just things I enjoyed. But Nitro versus Harlem Heat, February 26, 96. This one, it was like a 10-minute match, I think, and because it was a TV match, but they just wrestled their asses off, man. No joking around. It was all work, no play. It was
a badass TV match.
It was
just
a
a spoiler,
really good
this
TV
is my
match.
number 4.
Okay.
And the coolest thing about this match is it kind of leads you to Uncensored of 96 because the winner of this match goes on to face Lex Luger and Sting for the tag titles at Uncensored, but Sting was hurt, and it ends up being the Road Warriors versus Lex and Booker T, which is very weird for the tag titles.
So, okay, because I have a little spoiler for mine. Uncensored 96, Road Warriors versus Sting and Booker T is on my list.
Okay, so it was Lex that was hurt. Okay.
It was Lex.
I was doing that
hurt.
from
Yeah.
memory.
Okay. It threw me off because I was like, I watched that match, so I think that happened. Yeah.
Okay. I
thought I was off.
I got crossed up.
Anyways, yeah, that was just it. It was really good because it's a TV match that you don't get to. I mean, just killer tag matches on TV and killer singles matches on TV. Like, you dream of that because you're like, you don't want to always have to buy the pay-per-view, and you like watching. And Nitro had those more than the Fed at the time.
Watching that Nitro match against Harlem Heat, what really blew my mind more than anything is how fucking young Booker T looks.
Yeah.
Just because, we still see him today, on the pre-shows or whatever. And even
he's got that
wrestling,
short,
that
short little
crew cut kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Harlem Heat was a shit too. And they were that match, they're fighting with like the top tag team in WCW, man. Harlem Heat dominated through the mid to late 90s.
Those are actually like two of my favorite Elite figures that the boys have is the Harlem Heat ones.
Oh, those are sick.
Yeah, the red.
So I guess that was your 4. So should I just go on to 4?
Yeah, go ahead.
My number 4 was at In Your House Canadian Stampede. And I know this was a 8-man match, or was it a 10-man match?
It's Stone Cold, Goldust, LOD, Ken Shamrock. Yeah, 10 men.
Yeah,
against Brett, Owen,
the Hart
Bulldog,
Foundation,
Anvil,
Brian
Pillman.
Yeah. This is the main event of that, and the crowd's fucking hot because they're in Canada. So these guys.
This is my number 3, by the way.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So we're getting through it. It was 24 minutes. Now I put this one on here because I haven't watched it in a long time, but I put it on here because
week, dude.
I knew this
such
was
a good fucking match.
It's so good, dude. For a 10-man match,
yeah,
you don't get 10-man matches that are that awesome, especially 24 minutes long.
Especially in the WWF in the mid 90s.
Yeah, that's
late 90s, I guess.
That's rare, man. And the match before that was actually Undertaker defeating Vader to retain the WWF World Title. Yeah, it was 97. That's right. Taker was champ. But this being the main, that just shows you how hot this storyline was at the time. And it was really like Stone Cold versus the Hart Foundation. But it was kind of all of them versus like Animal and Hawk versus Owen and Neidhart and Shamrock and Pillman.
It would have been Goldust
Shamrock.
and Pillman.
Goldust and Pillman.
Because
Yeah,
they had just wrestled at
that's right. Yeah,
SummerSlam.
yeah. But anyways, this one, man, this one, like, you got to go back and watch this one if you've never seen it. I just went off this one from memory, but dude, I'm just amazed at a 10-man match that was 24 minutes in the middle in the 90s in the Fed was this fucking good.
Yeah. So I was
And the
10
crowd
when
is
this
a big part of
happened.
it.
And I remember watching this live. And not only that, but I remember one of my friends had recorded it off pay-per-view because I went to his house to watch it. He recorded it off pay-per-view. And then, like, we would watch that all the time. And, like, play with the Jax figures. And
Yeah,
this match, I mean, I've literally seen this match probably 30 times. Easy.
it's so good.
And I just watched it again last week. And it's aged very well.
It's just crazy to me that a pay-per-view like that, where the main event is a 10-man tag match, is just so memorable and so good. So,
Mhm.
like, it has to be on the list. And it's not just the Road Warriors, obviously, because it's a 10-man match, but they worked their asses off just like everybody else did in this match.
If my number one wasn't my number one for the reason it is, this would be my number one probably.
Yeah.
So you're number three because that was my number three.
My number 3 is Uncensored 96,
There you
Road
go.
Warriors versus Sting and Booker T. Dude, it's like a 30-minute match, and it's just the unlikely tag team of Sting and Booker T, because it was Harlem Heat at the time.
Right.
Those guys versus the Road Warriors just thrown together, it just shows how good Sting and Booker T are. And then also the Road Warriors. It's a fucking exciting match, dude. It's so good.
That's like
And
the
this
one high spot of Uncensored 96. Because the event
seriously,
overall
it
isn't
is.
very good.
I don't think it's a super good show. But
That's
this
the
one,
one.
another
That's
one
the
that-
one with the big cage match at the end.
with
Hogan
is it
and Macho versus
Yeah.
Four Horsemen and the fucking Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah, that's right. It was a Dungeon of Doom storyline. Still the Dungeon of Doom storyline from 95.
/94.
Yeah. But anyways, Uncensored 96, Sting and Booker T. I can't speak too much on it because it's just, you just got to watch it, dude.
Yeah.
It's a fucking really good.
It's a
It's 30
long-ass
minutes
match,
long,
yeah.
man. Yeah, but it's a really good tag
Yeah,
match.
it's
You
a
don't
good
expect
30
that
minutes.
in the 90s.
No, especially not from
Mid-nineties.
WCW.
Yeah. Or the Fed.
Yeah, or the Fed.
So anyways, that's
Uh,
number 3.
My number 2, this match was really fun as well. Road Warriors versus Tully and Arn, Starrcade 87.
That's my number 2.
Chi-Town Heat. Dude,
Yeah.
this match was so fucking good. Like, I went back to watch it because I had to have a Tully and Arn match on here, obviously.
You sent it to me, and that's why I put it on my list.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, this is
I
good.
was like, you have to watch this fucking match. It's
Yeah.
so good. Dude,
It went straight to
Arn
number
fucking
2.
sells his ass off here. And like it just goes to show like why so many people respect him and why he was a producer for as long as he was with the Fed and why he's doing what he's doing now with AEW, because this dude is, I mean, I can't
why
even
him and Tully and
talk
Arn
about.
are one of the best
Yeah.
tags of all time.
And I mean, yeah,
And
and
the Road
Tully
Warriors.
working with FTR now. I mean, he's
Yeah,
when it comes to tag teams, not many better than fucking Tully Blanchard. So
yeah.
yeah, you
Just
this is another
just
one of
a-
those matches you got to fucking watch because it is
Yeah.
so good.
Because
This-
this,
I mean,
this
this
is
could
old
sell-
school wrestling.
This
in
could
its
sell
finest.
tickets now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how good it is.
absolutely. Yep. Even on projector screen, it would sell tickets right now. Because, dude, it's just so good, and it's. I'm glad you sent it to me because I mean, obviously I have a couple of old school matches on
Yeah.
here, but like this one is like.
Primo.
This is classic wrestling at its finest, dude. Just Arn selling, storytelling. Tully's fucking great, and the Road Warriors, of course, legends up
This
in there.
is
with
probably
legends.
the best wrestling match I've ever seen the Road Warriors work.
Yeah, I would say
It's really good.
yeah, because it's a wrestling match. It's
Mhm.
wrestling.
All right, so that was your number 2 also?
Yeah,
Okay. So my number 1 is my number 1 because this is the very first NWA VHS tape I ever bought. I bought it from a video store that was going out of business. And I saw this one, and the cover is just so fucking cool, like the clamshell, and it's like this like weird like turquoise green blue color, and it's got the cage, and it's all cartoony animated of all the guys in it. So it's War Games 87, the Road Warriors, Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff, and Paul Ellering versus the Four Horsemen and JJ Dillon. So you got the managers in there too in a War Games match. And this one's just, I mean, there's blood. I'm pretty sure somebody's ass is out. I think you see Ric Flair's ass at some point in this match, I'm sure. Everybody's bleeding. You got Flair and Dusty in there, so that's awesome. Plus, you got the Road Warriors and Tully and Arn. And then, so Nikita would have been, was this, I want to say Barry Windham was in the Horsemen here, or was it Luger?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
I'm going off memory here. Because I didn't watch this one this week because I'd seen it so many fucking times. But yeah, just, I mean, nostalgia overtook that one for sure. And I'll always love that match because, like I said, it was the first NWA / WCW tape I ever had because I was more of a Fed guy.
Yeah.
Especially back then.
So my number one is the reason is very similar to yours because this is a nostalgic match.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Raw, December 15th, 1997 versus
I know what it
D-Generation
is.
X.
It almost made my list. I love that match.
First of all, it's a really good match, but the main reason I put it on here is because it's one of the best of the Raw matches from that time period, but this is the time period where that's what I saw. I saw LOD and LOD 2000 on Raw week in and week out, just killing it. They were always a featured tag team on Raw. And
this was right around that time you first started watching wrestling.
Yeah. I think I was definitely watching at this point. Of course, I was like 4, but it's nostalgia, man. That's why it's on here. And it's more so it's a killer match, but it represents all the matches of that time period. That's why it's my number one, is because that's what I grew up watching as far as the Road Warriors go. That's my memories of the Road Warriors is LOD 2000 every week in and week out on Raw, just doing their thing, man, putting people over or going over, just depending on what the story was. They were there to work and they did their best. And of course it's also, what a rush. That's my Road Warriors, man. So that's why it's my number one. And it's a killer match. It's actually on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So that's where it popped up on there. And I was like, this is perfect to be my number one because this is what I remember. These are my Road Warriors. So that's my number one. And it's a fun match to watch, man. DX shenanigans and, of course, the Road Warriors just being serious and fucking whipping ass, So that's it.
It's a good one.
Tis. So anyways,
all right,
that's our top 10s of the Road Warriors. Once again, rest in peace to Animal. It's with his brother Hawk. It sucks, but I'm glad we have legit memories with Animal.
Yeah. And now we have a list that anybody listening or watching can use our lists and go back and look at the Road Warriors. Maybe some younger people that didn't grow up watching them or never really seen any matches of theirs, because there's a lot of people that watch wrestling that don't go back and watch a lot of old stuff. And that's kind of what we've shifted more of this show too, it seems like, is going back and watching old shit, because today is just it's not fun. Like AEW's good, Japan's good. The Ring of Honor Pure Tournament, from what I've heard, is fucking excellent. I need to watch that too, but as far as WWE, I just don't want to fucking watch it anymore. It's boring.
Yeah.
I'll watch Survivor Series, or I won't. I don't know. I haven't decided.
I won't.
I do want to watch Takeover, though. I did hear.
Yeah, I do want to watch that and Halloween Havoc Takeover.
Definitely, I will definitely watch Halloween Havoc. Like I said, if nothing else for the set, I don't even care about the matches, but I'll watch it.
Well, they'll be
probably
good.
Like it. Yeah.
All right.
Take a break so I can get another cup of coffee real quick.
Yeah.
You got time? And then we'll blaze through Unforgiven.